Live from American University, it's DWC-TV with your hosts Jake Eig and Maddie Gerard.
Hi, I'm Madeline Gerard.
And I'm Jake Eig, and you're watching the DWC-TV.
For our first story, we went to the National Cathedral to take a closer look at what has been a controversial topic across America. The National Cathedral is famous for its stained glass, but the glorification of a certain historical symbol in it has caused national tension.
Following the Charleston church shooting in South Carolina, the symbol of the Confederate flag has been a largely discussed issue across America. Today we're here at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., where an image depicted on the stained glass has caused lots of controversy. We're headed over to see what all the discussion has been about now.
So the purpose of stained glass is to tell a story. And if you look at any of the stained glass windows in here, they all tell a different story. Most often Christian story, but it's also the American story. And what's concerning to the cathedral dean about these windows is that they tell the American story from a very one-sided point of view.
On Sunday, June 28th, the Very Reverend Gary Hall gave a sermon denouncing the presence of the Confederate flag in the stained glass window of the cathedral, which received a standing ovation from the congregation.
There simply is no excuse for the nation's most visible church to display a symbol of racism, slavery, and oppression.
What was appropriate in 1953 doesn't really work in 2015 anymore. And so it's not about trying to censor Robert E. Lee or Stonewall Jackson or erase them from our past. It's about telling American history in a more balanced way that, that tells the whole story and not just one side.
We headed over to the National Mall to ask people how they felt about the issue.
I have a problem with that. That flag kind of represents a lot of negativity for African Americans.
I mean, cathedrals are supposed to be all-inclusive and religious places. I think it's supposed to be a safe place.
They're going to have to take that down. That should have been down. Don't you think so? I don't think it should have never been in the cathedral.
The dean doesn't have the power to do this by himself, which is actually a good thing. No dean should be able to say, oh, I like that, I don't like that. This is not his decision alone. So it's going to go to a fine arts committee first, and then it's going to go to the board of directors, basically. What we don't want is for this view of history to go unchallenged in the middle of the sacred space. That, to this cathedral at this time, is not appropriate.
We're wrapping up our story here at the National Cathedral, and we're back to you guys at the studio.
And thanks, Nicole, for engaging us in this national discussion.
Every year, there's a special festival held by the Smithsonian that draws in more than 1 million visitors to D.C. Let's go to Sophia to hear about this event.
Thanks, guys. This year, the Smithsonian is honoring Peru at their annual Folklife Festival. Through food, music, and activities, the festival is bringing cultural diversity to D.C. Every year, the Smithsonian hosts the largest cultural event in D.C. on the National Mall for 2 weeks. More than 1 million visitors go to experience a culture different than their own through free activities and events.
Peru is one of the most diverse countries in the world, so that's something that we really want to highlight about Peru, the different regions and the different cultural traditions and how people relate to their environment, to things, to food, but also how things are interconnected between regions. So even though there's a lot of diversity going on, there's a lot of things that are also going back and forth between different regions of Peru.
It's a 48-year-old tradition that has brought in more than 90 countries and 23,000 artisans and performers to D.C. The festival features masquerade dancing, urban art presentations, cooking lessons, and a display of Peru's crafts including reed rafts, ceramics, and textiles.
Me siento muy orgullosa de haber traído.
I feel very proud to bring my music to Washington, especially to this festival because it is great to exchange cultures and share that with everybody.
One of these events is the Quechua language lesson.
Quechua is one of Peru's official languages and was spoken by the Incans. The language is still spoken today by over 3 million people in Peru. The language lesson, taught by native speakers, teaches kids and adults colorful words and sentences in this ancient language. The festival has allowed visitors to be immersed in Peruvian culture, and I can't wait to see what countries will be featured next year. Back to the studio.
This was the 48th Annual Folklife Festival held by the Smithsonian. Thank you, Sophia, for teaching us more about the culture of Peru.
Quinoa is a grain that has gained popularity among many American and European families. We'll now turn to reporter Sky Ray, who will tell us more about one of the world's healthiest foods.
Hello, my name is Sky Ray, and I'm here reporting at the 2015 Folklife Festival. This year's country of focus is South American country Peru. Today, we'll be learning about the very popular grain quinoa. We will see a demonstration of how it's made. We will also talk to a Peruvian farmer about his experience in growing the very well-known and popular grain quinoa.
A lot of time here to be cooking, so that is very cool.
At the Ayacucho cooking exhibit, 2 Peruvian women spoke about and demonstrated the preparation of quinoa. Quinoa can be cooked into many different foods, such as salad, different desserts, and even several Peruvian drinks. Today, we got a glimpse of how to cook quinoa into a tasty pudding. Some ingredients included raisins, cinnamon, and apples. We then interviewed a quinoa farmer to get his perspective of what it's like to grow the popular grain.
I've been a farmer all of my life. I was born into it. My grandfather had a farm. At first, we had a small part of my farm for quinoa, but now it's bigger. Growing quinoa has affected my family a lot because we offer a good price and it's organic. People come together and find markets outside the region to sell quinoa for a better price.
Even though it may seem like a simple grain, quinoa is something that many American and European families eat on their plates every single night. However, as we can see, it trails back to many different farmers in Peru. Thank you.
Thank you, Sky. I sure have gained a lot of knowledge from that intriguing story.
Last month, a big change was made for the lives of many in our country. The decision that was made will go down in history as a monumental shift in the culture of our world. Alexandra Sharrett has more.
Same-sex marriage was recently legalized throughout the whole country due to a Supreme Court ruling. We are setting out to get the opinions from civilians.
Perfect.
You know, as a Christian, I have my beliefs.
Personally, I don't really mind. I don't really have an opinion. That is somebody else's decision. So I understand everybody has their own right to take their own decision about themselves.
But I'm still going to love them because they're humans and they're sinners just like I am. I don't care whether you're a liar, a murderer, gay, anything. Sin's a sin, so I'm going to love everybody like I should.
I think it's really exciting. I think there's a lot more work to be done for gay rights. But this is a step forward.
I come from where our values are very traditional and we're very strict about our belief systems. I mean, we cannot condone anything that is contrary to the opposite sex marriage.
The Supreme Court agrees with same-sex marriage, but that doesn't mean all Americans do. My name is Alexandra Sharrett. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thank you, Alexandra, for gauging people's reactions to the historical Supreme Court decision.
We'll now turn to Naima to learn about some of the beautiful sculptures American University has to offer.
Hi, I'm Naima Fonrose, and I'm here at the Katzen Art Center at American University's campus to find out more about the art represented here on campus.
Just a little over 10 years ago, we opened the museum. These 3 sculptures were installed. They're by Jules Zalitsky, who was about 90 years old when he made them. Came in right before we opened. A big crane came and plopped them down on the patio here.
Now we know the story behind some of the sculptures on campus. Thank you, and back to the studio.
Thanks, Naima. I've always wondered about those beautiful pieces.
In the world of sports, Peruvians loyally support their national soccer, or as the rest of the world would call it, football team. For this story, we have a reporter on the scene surveying the responses to Peru's recent success. Now to Michael Emanuel with more.
Today, the Folklife Festival is centered around Peru, and today we are presented with a special opportunity since the Peruvian national team finished 3rd place in the Copa America. We are going to go around and ask some of the Peruvian people how they feel about the return to success for their national team. Let's jump into it.
The people are always happy to see our team succeed. Everyone has extreme pride in the Peru team. In school, we practice football and it has become a part of our culture. We have a very diverse culture, but we can all unite with football. We respect the team and it makes the love in our country grow.
Peruvian culture is unique. The people are creative and dedicated. Football creates unity. The beauty of the country and of the game help to build passion. A common love brings the nation together with hope and positivity.
In the third place game, Peru's excitement, pride, and hard work was on full display. They continually inspire their country and provide grounds on which to celebrate.
When Peru finds success, it unites a diverse country. The people are able to bond over a single thing. The recent third place finish in the Copa America is great for the people and the country as a whole. Let's take it back to the studio.
Thanks, Michael, for that inspiring report.
The Peruvians' performance on the pitch demonstrates the larger atmosphere of excitement in Peru.
It turns out, sports really can bring a nation together.
I'm Madeline Gerard.
And I'm Jake Eig.
And you're watching DWC TV.